This episode is brought to you by Kia's first 3-row all-electric SUV, the Kia EV9, with available all-wheel drive and seating for up to 7 adults, with a 0 to 60 speed that thrills you 1 minute, and available reclining lounge seats that unwind you the next. Visit kia.com/EV9 to learn more. Ask your Kia dealer for availability. No system, no matter how advanced, can compensate for all driver error and or driving conditions. Always drive safely.
Join me, 48 Hours correspondent Erin Moriarty, on my podcast, My Life of Crime, as I take on true crime investigations like no other. This season, I'm looking into the labyrinth of crime and secrets within families. I'm cutting straight to the evidence and talking to the people directly involved, including investigators and the families of victims. Listen to My Life of Crime with Erin Moriarty wherever you get your podcasts.
This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Boobies!
Hi,
Hello.
and welcome to...
Boobies.
Oh.
Yeah, we normally do it the other way, but that's okay. You say, welcome to...
Boobies!
There we go.
I'm Joshua.
And I'm Caitlin, and we're your hosts.
We are your hosts for this very spectacular and horrifying podcast.
It's almost fall time.
Almost spooky season.
It is.
Mhm.
I have already went to Michael's to look at Halloween decorations.
I'm sure they've got it all out.
They do.
Was it cute stuff? Spooky stuff?
Well, they had a good mixture of both.
Yeah.
Good mixture of both. They had a pink skull that I really wanted, but
Ooh,
then I was
Barbie
like,
skull.
none of my decorations for Halloween are
Barbenheimer.
pink.
Sorry.
Yeah, it would be Barbenheimer.
Not to cut you off.
But none of my Halloween decorations are pink.
Yeah.
So my Halloween decorations go more the like traditional spooky route or Bastille, like reproductions.
What's Bastille?
You ever see those like real kitschy like scaredy cats and like ghosts and owls and jack-o'-lanterns?
Like the scaredy cats that are really like skinny and like, meow, like
yeah, and they're like typically black with like an orange outline around them.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about
Yeah.
now. Never mind. Okay, got it.
Kind of
got
like paper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I've got
It's like a
few of
shadow
those.
almost with like the silhouette of light coming behind it.
Kind of. Sometimes
like-
they have eyes
Okay, got it.
that
got
you can see. It's just a black cat.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like jack-o'-lanterns and stuff like that. You would definitely, I guess I could also just like pull up a picture and show you. That would be.
The good old Google. Yeah, that would be nice because I feel like I have something in my mind right now of what you're speaking of, but it might not be
Like
the correct
this.
thing. That was not what I was thinking of.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. I see it though. I've seen that before. That's just not what I was thinking of, and I didn't know it had a name. Like
yeah,
precisely of the type of
little,
art
like,
that it is.
cutouts and stuff. Like
Yeah,
these little jack-o'-lanterns.
those are cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got a lot of that kind of stuff in
Those
my
very,
house.
those
like,
very much.
I have this exact pack.
Got it. See, it reminds. See, and that's what I was talking about, like the cat, how it's like, meow, like
Yeah.
all like scaredy.
Mhm.
When you said that, it very much reminds me of like my teacher's like second grade classroom, first grade classroom
Mhm.
when I was in preschool and elementary. Like,
Yeah.
and they would always have those type of decorations out during that time.
They're real popular.
And put it on the door, and like they would have like the trim that goes around the door and stuff.
Mhm.
So that's yeah, I remember.
And
all
like
of
a lot of paper mache
Mhm.
or what are those?
the nostalgia.
Yeah. Anyways, so that's a little bit more along the lines of my Halloween decorations in my house / just straight up.
Yeah.
I use my dolls to my advantage.
They
So my
add
house
to the spook
basically looks
factor.
like 24/7 Halloween. I just add some spooky fabric in order to make it look more spooky.
Oh no, I would say
Like
some
cobwebs.
Cobwebs, but the kitties would get that.
Yeah,
Wouldn't
I haven't put out cobwebs since the kitties
they? Yeah,
because I'm worried that they'll just eat them.
and then get sick.
Yeah. The
I
other
don't know.
day,
It's-
Yams ate a gecko. It got in, and
Oh.
she went.
Feral.
Yep.
At least that's
And I was like,
organic.
"Ah." Yeah, I
as
just hope
opposed
it doesn't
to
have a
fake
disease.
cobwebs. Do geckos carry diseases?
I don't know. They could.
That's true. I don't know. I think she just had a nice snack.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
A nice little live snack.
She really went into her feline instincts there. And just like Kitty did with the gecko, we have these creatures and aliens that we are going to be talking about today that sick themselves on anything that makes a
Humans.
sound. Yeah.
Anything that the poor
Remember the raccoon, the little trash panda?
You know that I've had 3 pet raccoons?
No.
I did.
You've never told me that?
I've also had 3 pet possums.
I can see all of that, but I didn't know that.
Yeah, we rehabilitated them. And they, like, when they were young. Like,
are raccoons really like as nice and docile?
Oh
like
my God.
as
Raccoons
they say they are?
so great.
Yeah.
Our first one, Mika, which was very similar to Miko from Pocahontas, that raccoon. But Mika, she would play tag with us.
Oh.
So she would run up, tag us, go hide. We'd go find her, tag her, run, go hide. She'd come find us, and we would just go back and forth.
That's so cute.
And then every night before bed, she would come make her rounds around the bedrooms and brush our little hair with her paws.
Aww.
And then pat our eyes to make sure we were asleep. But obviously we were still awake because the raccoon was petting our eyes.
That's cute though.
But she would
she big?
just take her. Yeah, she was pretty
like
big.
a full-size raccoon?
Yeah.
That's wild.
And she would
literally
take her little paws and just pat our eyes.
How did y'all, like, was she like up to the, like, being domesticated, like house trained and stuff and all that?
Yeah,
okay.
she like went in a litter box and stuff.
Wow.
They're kind of like cats. They love cat food for starters too.
I've seen that on like TikToks. Yeah. They come and steal the cat food and dog food and kibble.
Very similar to cats, I would say.
Did y'all give your cats dry kibble or like wet food?
Dry.
Okay.
Yeah, they liked kibble. Yeah, and then
wet food always like got gross.
I think we'd also feed. No, I think that was our sugar glider. We had a sugar glider.
Oh, the little
named
ones.
Kiki.
I remember like 2008 maybe, like those were like they like had a boom. Like everybody wanted a sugar. I think that was they were selling them in the malls. Yeah. That's
I
wild.
think that was when we had one as well. And then
I wanted one. Oh, but my mom was like, hell no.
They're really hard to take care of. And they eat mealworms and stuff. So you had to buy mealworms
Constantly
for
get
them.
mealworms. Is that like all they ate? Do they eat like fruit or something?
Yeah, they loved fruit and stuff like that.
But they needed like protein from like mealworms.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they just needed more. They have a very specific lifestyle. Mm-hmm. We had ours for about 2 years before we gave it away to someone who could probably take better care of it and had less kids, because I think Kiki was stressed out that there were kids around. Yeah, because we of course just wanted to see her
and just play with her, touch her,
and she was like,
and she's like, I'm
absolutely
fucking exhausted.
Yeah, she's like, I just want to sleep in this pouch and leave me alone, please.
Yeah, well, that's what they do.
Yeah, because she had little pouches that my mom would like carry around her, like her neck, and it would just like sleep in this little pouch around my mom's neck. And my mom would just walk around with it. It's like bonding, like when you swaddle a baby to you.
Like when you wrap them up in like burritos and just put them on you.
Yeah.
That's
Bjorn.
so cool.
What is it?
But what?
Baby Bjorn.
I don't know.
Bjorn. I don't know.
I feel like I've heard of what you're talking. Dijon mustard.
Dijon.
But yeah. So R.I.P. to the raccoons and all the other furry little animals that probably got murdered in this film, in this universe.
I wonder how the birds fared.
Since they're flying. Was that a ghost?
I think so.
Wow.
I don't know what just happened.
What was it? Did something fall?
I saw something move out of the corner of my eye, but I'm not sure what.
But there's nothing there.
And I definitely heard something fall.
Was it that tape?
Oh, maybe.
Maybe it was the tape.
Yeah.
It happened so fast. By the time I looked over there, like there was nothing. But I even felt like the wind. Did you not feel the wind? I thought the door was opening.
Oh.
You didn't feel that?
Gust rushed past you?
It was like...
That's definitely a ghost.
Anyways.
We just caught a ghost on film.
Yeah.
This isn't filmed on microphone.
Recorded. Maybe it's the draft from that. I don't know, but I felt something. Anyways, sorry you guys. We are talking about The Quiet Place. This was came out in 2018.
2018. Yep. Directed by John Krasinski.
The guy from The Office,
Jim.
Yep. He really liked the screenplay that was written by Scott Beck and Brian Woods, and I guess that edition with himself, and it's kind of like a after the world ends apocalyptic type of setting. We're following a family of what starts out to be 5, but then turns into 4, and then turns into 5 again.
Very quickly.
And it's, as much as it is kind of a horror movie and sci-fi-ish type of movie, it's a very, I'd say, like drama and family type of centered movie.
Yeah, it almost made me cry at the end.
Oh yeah,
and I
definitely
even knew
cry.
that. I even
knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, the dad dies.
Yeah,
I knew it was going to happen, but I still was like, damn.
Yeah,
got a little misty eyed.
It's pretty sad because especially
they were all like having to quietly sob and stuff. And like once the little girl, I forgot all of their names. I know they all have names.
Yeah, because they don't use them much. This movie really
use them at all.
Relies heavily on the quietness. That's right. I guess
I don't think they used them a single time.
It's not until the second one, I guess, I think that we hear.
You get some more names from them.
The daughter's name is Reagan. The son is named Marcus. The wife's name is Evelyn. And John's Krasinski character's name Lee. Yes.
And they're the Abbotts. Marcus. I am so confused onto the cast here. It like in the top like cast when you Google it.
Yeah.
Emily Blunt's not even on the front page. I'm like, she
not even credited.
Loki made this movie. She did such a great job.
She does a lot of emoting with her face.
Yeah.
To where you're
her
like,
scream.
Oh,
she's like
scream.
not credited at all on when you're just looking through here.
Oh, okay. I see you on the like Google.
That's not even her. That one's the newborn baby.
That's funny.
Not even there.
Well, she did make the movie.
She did a great job.
She should be built up there. But should we just dive right in?
Yep. We open with day 89 of what you can assume is the
post-apocalyptic of what had happened. Yes, we are starting on day 89.
D-Day.
Yeah.
Essentially.
It's an empty town. We see very much looks like deserted. There are we go into a grocery store and we see this little kid running around. And we are introduced to a family. They're being very quiet as they are looking for stuff, I guess, essentially things that they need. Very early on.
In like a convenience store.
Yeah, very early on also, as we're getting kind of introduced to the characters quietly in a way, not really like audioly, but, visually. The sound cuts out when we see Reagan's character.
Yeah.
Because the movie makes use of putting us in the audio perspective that she has because she is deaf. And so she is also played by a real life deaf actress, which is really cool because they wanted it to be pretty authentic and wanted us as the viewer to go through what she would be going through in this situation, which is also pretty freaking to imagine being in a world where things kill you that make sound, but yet you can't even hear sound. So you wouldn't know when you would be making sound.
Exactly.
So it's it puts you in a very vulnerable position.
It does. Yeah. It's amazing that she's been able to survive.
Yeah.
And stuff too. And was able to pick up and they've got all those safety precautions, like the sand on the ground and stuff like that to kind of help stifle any sound.
Lee is low-key really smart.
Yeah.
Very resourceful and very much quick at putting things together and being granted it is day 89, but still
no, they had a fantastic.
It seems like he thought about that way long ago. Yeah.
They had a fantastic
setup
going for them.
And so we're in there. Mom is looking for pills, because we see that the boy Marcus is kind of like laying on the floor. He's having a hard time breathing. And is it
Which
that,
makes you think that he would be the one to die.
right? Exactly.
First. But
And did we ever? We don't. Did we get? Is it asthma, or is it just we don't ever get an explanation,
I don't
right?
really think you
It's
get-
just that
'cause
we
she
know that
gives him a pill.
we just know that he needs something to make sure he doesn't go into
Maybe it was like a panic attack or something.
attack, maybe anxiety, I don't know. But yeah, so we're getting the medicine for him. She is basically making sure that he's okay, and then we get the little boy drawing a little rocket on the floor.
Yep.
Which that comes into play here very soon, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately. And as he's drawing the rocket on the floor, his sister walks up, and Reagan is her name. Reagan. Reagan walks up, and he explains to her that this is how we're going to get away.
Yeah.
And he's saying basically he's got this, little kid idea of we'll get away on this rocket ship and then we'll be fine. We'll be safe. And then he's going around, we're kind of watching the family still do their business inside this grocery store. And then he finds a toy rocket and he's like reaching up tiptoe on the shelf and grabs the rocket, but doesn't really grab it. He more knocks it off. And thankfully Reagan comes in at the last second to catch it and make sure that it doesn't clatter to the ground.
Yeah. And as like all of that is happening, we were watching this silhouette, or is that a silhouette or figure? Coming into the frame in the back of a door frame. And it's Dad. And it's like, as soon as she catches that, she like makes eye contact with him. And it's like that moment of like, oh shit, like Dad's in the room. Like, every kid has, but also the stakes are a lot higher in this sense, to where it's like, if she wouldn't have been there, like the what could have happened could have been like really bad.
Yeah. The repercussions could have been real bad. Yeah.
Because he's obviously he's got to be like 3, like 4 at the most, maybe. I don't know. So like
he was pretty verbal. I don't know what age kids become super verbal.
I mean, my nephew, like they speak around like 2.5, like 3.
Okay.
But definitely I could see my nephew would be the first one to go, my little one, because he doesn't he
can't shut up.
Literally, yes, just screaming, like constant screaming. Like that is his like I'm having fun is just to like just scream at the top of his lungs. And I have to constantly be like, inside voice, please.
Shut up.
Yeah. So I just can only imagine. And it's hard for him to comprehend, because he'll like, I have to be like, do you understand? And after like 5 minutes, he's like, okay. And I'm like, okay. So it's just so like, I can see how I don't even know how they have these kids in this world, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like
especially with
these
the
parents
newborn.
are really diligent of like making sure that like they're protecting them, and at all times making sure that like he's not off making a ruckus or something, But yeah, Dad, came back. He has gotten some stuff for a radio, right? To help with building a radio, I believe.
Yeah,
he's talking to Reagan about it.
Make the signal stronger.
And at this point, I think they're talking about how, or the mom comes into the picture and she's like, it'll be dark soon, so they have to leave.
And then the dad Lee sees the rocket in the little boy's hands and is like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
He goes towards it very slowly, takes out the batteries. I thought he was just going to take out the batteries and then
give it back to him. Which I feel like would have been okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then instead he takes the rocket away and puts it on the countertop.
Right next to the batteries.
Yeah, right next to the batteries. And then I'm guessing Reagan doesn't put him back in, but
no,
he does.
Yeah. So whenever they're all walking out, Reagan grabs the spaceship and gives it back to him to be like, here, I'm sure she felt bad because, he wasn't trying to do anything wrong. And I don't think she accounted for the little boy to think like, oh, let me also grab the batteries, because he's walking away. But before he goes out, he turns back and grabs those batteries and walks out the door. And it doesn't show him putting them in, but as they're, walking away, we see that they got that sand out there.
Yeah.
And they make their way across the bridge. We just, have that moment where everybody's walking. It seems like everybody's really happy, which is really fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Because he's
like
just kind of
a
walking.
happy little
Mom is
family
just
walking.
like serenely just like, got that little smile, just like, okay, and whatever. And then we have Reagan's perspective of it being quiet, and then Dad just turning around. Or no, I think it happens before. They're just walking, and then we start to hear the noise of the rocket go off.
Yeah.
Which is really loud and really, you know,
jarring, because the whole rest of the film has been silent basically since the beginning. We got some ominous noises and like orchestral little nods once they got towards the bridge, but other than that, the film's been completely silent. So, which we know I love. So I enjoy this film because of that. But it plays a great deal on the silence, and then all of a sudden there's just this ruckus that's, you know, ringing through the air, and the dad basically just like bolts the other boy and bolts back, but he's narrowly misses him.
Just a little too late.
Yeah.
But also too, like, I can only imagine, like, if you were to even grab the boy, like, they both would have been dead, right? Like, because
unless he if the little boy threw the machine, the rocket.
I guess that would have been something to save him. But yeah, 10 minutes in, I want to say, maybe not even.
Yeah, it was 10 minutes.
Yeah,
I had to pause the film.
Check it. Yeah.
I just had to pause the film in general. And then I was like, oh, yep. 10 minutes, just 10 minutes in, and the youngest boy's already dead.
Which is pretty, you know, we're taking out the little baby. Pretty ballsy.
Yeah,
I feel like. Yeah.
It is.
It's taking out the kid.
And you got a brief glimpse at the creature. It looks like a weird, like, praying mantis kind of
very
walking stick Demogorgon
from the Stranger Things, and mixed with like how those things you were talking about, praying mantis, and then like what are those things, like pterodactyls?
Oh yeah, like, how they walk on like their little bones.
It looks very much like that. And we get a title card there right after. A little wispy, quiet place. It looks like sand. Yeah,
quiet place.
Not my favorite title card.
Oh,
but did you like it?
Yeah, I thought it was kind of nice. I was like, oh, clever. They use the sand that they walk on, which helps make them in a quiet place.
And then we get day 472.
Correct.
So it has been some time after we lost little, I forget his name.
Yeah, I don't know.
Little baby Abbott. We'll call him Baby Abbott.
Baby Abbott.
And so we have Reagan in some sand, and she's just kind of chilling. We have our cornfield. We're kind of getting a view of like where they live and where they stay. Mom is doing some laundry, really old school, on like, you know, the clothesline, hanging stuff up. And we have as a dad, we opened with him already being in the basement, and he's looking up over all of that stuff.
Yeah. He's trying different shortwave frequencies, trying to figure out if he's sending out SOS signals, and through what's that called?
Morse code.
Tap 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 tap. He's sending out SOS signals, trying to get some sort of response, but he's not having much luck. And then we get, what's his name? Marcus, little boy.
Yeah, Marcus.
Middle child. Going into the cellar, and we see like there's this cellar full of pickled things. So you get that they've got a pretty good lay of the land there.
Yeah.
They've got that cornfield. So they've got plenty of like corn. They've got all sorts of vegetables. The mom was picking vegetables. Yeah. I think.
Oh, is that what it was?
What she was doing at first. And then I think she goes inside and does laundry.
Gotcha.
Because she runs into Reagan and grabs her on the way in. And it looked like she had some beets or something. Yeah. Something red. But had vegetables and stuff. So they've got a pretty good setup.
Very self-sustaining, because they have to be at this point.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, and then is at this point that we get the camera pan down, and we're like, oh, mom is fucking pregnant.
Yep. I put, oh, good, mom is pregnant.
Yeah. You said, I'm good?
Yeah.
Oh, like, and then like sarcastically, yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because why the fuck would you want to bring a baby into this world?
Literally. I'm like, you couldn't have pulled out.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you couldn't have done anything.
But that.
Yeah. Like, I get that you like each other and love each other, but yeah.
It just seems a bit negligent, honestly.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
that's one more mouth you're going to have to feed.
It endangers the whole tribe. I'll just say it is that way.
Yeah.
And then also, That baby can't defend itself.
No.
Like, it's totally reliant on you.
There was one moment at the end when whenever she handed Marcus the baby, and his eyes screamed fear. He was like, "You kidding me? You giving me this like death
baby
alarm?"
noise? Yeah, literally death alarm. That's a good way to say
like,
it.
Absolutely not. Get this out of my arms.
That Marcus's actor did very well too at like showing a lot of emotion and stuff.
Did.
Noah Jupe, that's his name, and the actress who plays Reagan is Millicent Simmons.
Millicent.
Beautiful
name.
And so we have them basically there we go. We cut to Dad. He's on top of the silo.
Yep.
Right.
Looking for other signs of life, essentially.
And scanning the horizon. We have him looking at a box that has all of the baby's stuff, the baby that they obviously lost, their toddler, and going down memory lane, very nostalgic. And at this point, I think we also cut to Mom, who is like preparing a little baby crib with like an oxygen mask and an oxygen tank.
Making a little baby box that helps keep the baby safe.
It's funny because it's an oxygen tank, but at the beginning or the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, they're gonna like gas the baby to like put it to sleep whenever they need to or whenever it's making noise. That's what I thought it was, like a laughing gas type of situation.
Yeah,
like they were gonna knock it out.
Oh, that's what my parents did to me.
Other way around.
Not with laughing gas, but
melatonin, Benadryl. Yeah. And so we have Dad up on the, silo, and he is, I think before that too, we see the kids are soundproofing the walls with like lots of newspaper and stuff, and glue, which I guess enough of that would make a difference. But I'm like, they would have to put a hell of a lot of like paper out there.
Newspaper, yeah.
Cause that shit is thin.
Egg cartons.
Yeah.
But maybe all the egg cartons were used already.
Yeah. It sounds like they need some foam from Rogue Media Network Studios.
It's true, they do.
On the wall.
We'd be safe here. That's where we'd come.
And so Dad is up on the silo, and he lights a fire, and he scans the horizon. Or before he scans the horizon, sorry. He's got that box that he had with all the baby shit. He throws it into the fire. So essentially, I think he's
he did?
Yeah, he threw it into the fire.
I wasn't sure if he lit it on fire or not.
Yeah, he chunked it.
Damn.
So I think maybe he was.
That's pretty harsh.
I didn't know if it was like I think it's just more of like his like, I'm letting it go. Yeah.
I still don't think I could burn my kid's shit.
I feel like you would still want some of that to like remember.
Yeah. Like pictures, maybe, in case I was.
I feel like that's more of like
an
ex or a boyfriend or a girlfriend type of thing to do, not like a child.
Not.
Yeah, but unless I'm wrong, but because I was watching because I was like, I didn't remember him doing it the first time I watched, but this time I watched it, I was like, oh, he like burned that stuff.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't catch it. But damn.
And I guess there are a couple moments where like he has his moment, I feel like, with letting go, and then Mom has that moment later on where she goes into the room and is just like,
crying.
Understandably so.
I would be too.
Yeah, we are after he gets that fire going and stuff, now we're scanning the horizon, and we do see that there is like, it was like 2 or 3 other flames that went up at this point.
Yeah, maybe even 4.
4? Okay, yeah, there were quite a few.
There was quite a few fires that lit up.
So we know that there are still people out there, and they all like, I guess, periodically check, if it's not every day, check in with each other and like, letting you know, like, hey, you haven't died yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we're here. And then they get to dinner time, basically, and they're eating, honestly, what looks like some damn good food.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, she pulled that fish out of the floor, and
I know, which was so
smoked.
fancy. And I've seen people pay good money for brunch like this, like just around the table with those greens. The greens were magnificent looking.
And then how
wow,
they use the big like lettuce leaves or whatever big leaves those are for the plates and stuff, which is very smart,
Yeah. And you can also eat it.
It's true. Very resourceful. You eat your plate at the end. And they are, they're saying grace, I guess, because in this post-apocalyptic world with aliens, they still
believe in God,
say grace. And so they're eating. Yay. After this, we are playing Monopoly, but they like changed all the pieces for like soft pieces and like little pieces
like
of cotton fabric. What are those things called? Puffs. So those
Cotton balls.
the little colored puffs.
Pom poms.
Pom poms. Yes, I feel like they had one of those there.
Yeah, there was definitely like 4 pom poms.
Yeah, and so they're having fun. It's like a good time as much as you can be, because like I'm sure it sucks to be a kid in like this fucking universe where it's like, oh crap, you know,
Can't
the world
be loud.
fucking over. Can't be loud.
Going through
Can't be a
like,
kid.
Reagan, whenever she's going through her angsty stuff with dad, couldn't
Dude,
go scream.
Whenever she was fucking throwing that fit and throwing shit around later in the movie, I think that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, what the fuck is she doing? Like,
You're gonna wake him
and
up.
also, how did nothing hear her?
I know.
I
Yeah,
was like,
I guess she
what?
just threw the stuff against the
And
bed.
the hearing aid? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I feel like it still made a noise. I don't know.
It did. It
Enough
was a
noise.
muffled thump.
But yeah, we're playing Monopoly. It seems like we're having a good time. And I think it's was it Marcus? It's Marcus, right? Or Reagan. Someone gets overly excited, I feel like, and they knock over the lantern.
Yeah, they go to reach for something, and I think it was Marcus, because he's the one who apologizes
after,
later.
Yeah, saying sorry. But it falls over, and it's really funny. Not really funny, but it's very like jarring and what's the word? Like because you know, like you said, the movie relies on a lot of silence, and it was you're very quiet, and then all of a sudden we just have this flame go up, and it's very loud.
Glass was shattering.
Dad is basically like lunging across the room to put the fire out. Mom, the look on Mom's face is so like. How do you even describe that? Like, it just like all the happy emotion just like it just dropped from her face, and she just looked so worried. She's just like, oh fuck,
we're dead.
Yeah, she was like, not again. Essentially,
now you've done it.
And the boy, he's obviously freaking out. Dad is telling them to keep quiet, and we hear something does like kind of start making a noise outside, and his dad is inspecting and getting closer to the window.
Because it sounds like it's on top of their house,
the roof,
and it's like loud. A loud metallic crash happened, and it was like, oh shit, something's up there. But nope.
It just happens to be some raccoons.
Fucking raccoons.
Trash pandas.
Just some fucking raccoons.
And
just minding their own little business.
I love the little noise that they make when they like walk off. It's like very Perry the Platypus. And poor things don't last long because they're like walking off in the cornfield, and I love how they just like get squished.
Just smashed. You see its little blood fly.
Yeah.
Oh, not the raccoon.
So nothing is safe. That makes a noise. And it's the next day. Dad is making a hearing aid. We see him, what you gonna do it? Soldering, right? Is that what it is? And messing with it. We see that he's been studying a lot and trying, I guess, to get a lot of knowledge on the ear and how. Is it a hearing aid or was it like a cochlear implant? Is that the same thing? I don't want to misspeak. I don't know if you know.
Yeah, I don't know.
One of those things or both, if not the same thing. He's working on that. I said
hearing aid.
Hearing aid, right?
I don't think it's probably not the correct termination.
But yeah, he's definitely working on that because he wants to help his daughter obviously hear, because that would help her, her survival skills.
Yeah.
And then I guess it's not the next day because it's I don't know what time of day it is, but Mom, I'm assuming it's nighttime because he's probably in there late, and Mom comes in and she's like listening to some music on
she's somehow looking
AirPod?
So fucking beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Even though it's like apocalyptic times and she's pregnant.
She's glowing, as they say, I guess.
She was. And I was like, damn. And she's got a beautiful dress on, really pretty, which I mean, I guess just, she's got to wear her same wardrobe that she wore in life. So it's like understandable, but I'm like,
but it's also like Emily
how does
Blunt,
she look
and
so
Emily
beautiful?
Blunt is very beautiful.
Yeah, she is.
And I love I love watching interviews with her or like hearing her in real life and her accent. It's very pretty or cool. I don't know. Damn, accents are a thing. Like I'd like to say like, no, they're not a thing, but like accents really are a thing.
Yeah.
They make people sound so much like, I don't know, cooler, sexier, whatever.
Just
I don't
different.
know. I digress. And so we are dancing together because she puts the music onto his ear, and it's a very kind of tender moment between these parents who I'm sure are probably stressed the fuck out.
Yeah, rightly so.
Yeah.
And this has to be the loudest part of the film so far.
Oh yeah. We get some music
with
playing.
the longest duration of noise that has happened.
And they are slow jamming, and it's really nice. It's a really good tender moment. Really builds into the character and to the love that we share between them, which helps
explains why they still have a baby on the way.
Exactly, because I guess no matter even all this happening, they're just like, our love is strong enough to make it work.
Survive alien attacks, and we'll make raising a family work in the middle of this shithole garbage world that we live in.
Sounds like right now.
Yep. Please don't send an alien attack on us right now. Did you know you could be putting oil and chemicals in your coffee? I love coffee creamer, but I don't think I've ever turned the bottle around to actually see what's inside. When I did, I found out many of my favorite creamers contain ingredients I would never intentionally add to my coffee cup, like canola oil, dipotassium phosphate, ew, and artificial flavors. Laird Superfood all started when big wave surfer Laird Hamilton needed morning fuel that could allow him to spend the entire day chasing the ultimate wave. He couldn't find anything in the market that met his ingredient standards, so made himself the ultimate plant-based creamer. Laird Superfood started and launched its first product, Original Superfood Creamer, in 2015. Laird Superfoods contain no artificial flavors, colors, or additives, and no sugars from highly refined corn syrup. All Laird products are sustainably sourced and thoroughly tested to ensure that you're incorporating the cleanest, finest fuel into your routine. All Laird products are also made of all-natural whole food ingredients, and they are crafted from the highest quality all-natural real food ingredients. Are you ready to feel more energized, focused, and supported? Go to lairdsuperfood.com and add nourishing plant-based foods to fuel you from sunrise to sunset. Use our promo code BOO at checkout to save 15% off your purchase today.
I love smoothies, but I don't love smoothie bar prices. With my BlendJet 2 portable blender, I can make smoothie bar quality beverages for a fraction of the price. BlendJet 2 is portable, so you can blend up a smoothie at work, a protein shake at the gym, or even a margarita on the beach. It's small enough to fit in a cup holder, but powerful enough to blast through tough ingredients like ice and frozen fruit with ease. BlendJet 2 is whisper quiet, so you can make your morning smoothie without waking the whole house. Lasts for 15 plus blends and recharges quickly via USB-C. Best of all, BlendJet 2 cleans itself. Just blend water with a drop of soap and you're good to go. There are also over 30 plus colors to choose from. I myself chose black because it matches the color of my soul. What are you waiting for? Go to blendjet.com and grab yours today. And be sure to use the promo code BOO12 to get 12% off your order and free 2-day shipping. No other portable blender on the market comes close to this quality, power, and innovation of the BlendJet 2. They guarantee you'll love it or your money back. Blend anytime, anywhere with the BlendJet 2 portable blender. Go to blendjet.com and use the code BOO12 to get 12% off your order and free 2-day shipping. Shop today and get the best deal ever.
And we open up, and now it's day 473. So we've gotten a little bit more of time passing.
It's
We
been a
went
day.
from one day. Yeah. Why would they mark that time?
I have no idea, because when I read it too, I was like, why does it matter? Like, because you can very much clearly tell that it's the next day.
Nighttime
as well.
And then,
But
that's
yeah,
kind
they
of
do.
silly.
Mm-hmm.
But mom's doing the laundry and stuff, or she's checking on her vitals. Sorry.
Yeah.
Checking her vitals. And we see on the calendar that she's about 2 weeks out from her due date,
Mm-hmm.
or so we think.
Yeah. Because that is October 3rd, and the baby is due October 23rd.
Yeah. So pretty close by. And she's taking her own vitals, checking baby's heartbeat and stuff like that. I'm wondering if she was maybe a nurse or something.
That's what it gave. Yeah. The whole time that I was watching the movie, I thought maybe she was a nurse or like some type of like teacher, maybe even as well. I don't know. It gave those type of vibes though.
Yeah, because she was really good at teaching Marcus stuff as well.
And maybe school nurse. No, I'm just kidding. We combined the two.
Yeah.
But she also in the sequel.
I mean, she placed an IV in herself.
In the sequel as well, there's some things that happen.
Or someone did.
And she knows a lot of knowledge about an injury, so it feels like she could have been a nurse or something before all this shit went down. And yeah,
it's been a hot second since I've watched the second one.
She's hearing that heartbeat, and it's kind of like a probably. I feel like she's having a bittersweet moment, in the sense of like it's so good to hear the heartbeat because she like obviously loves her baby already, but like the terror that she's probably also thinking of at the same time that this is happening. You know, you can have like two feelings at once, you know. I'm sure she's terrified, and then also thinking about her other baby. Like I'm sure that's so sad as well. Like she's
like replacement kid.
Yeah, right. Like I'm sure she's having a bunch of feelings, like guilt, and which we do know she was, man, when she had that moment with her husband later on in the film, that part made me cry. I was like, damn, like this whole time everybody's been thinking it's all their fault, like that he died. Like, because they can't even fucking talk about their feelings. But little sweet moment, her hearing that heartbeat. And it's also another moment in the film where it's like everything else has been real quiet, but they really, you know, make you hear like the dum 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 from the baby. And then after this we have Reagan trying to sneak into the basement.
And there's little painted spots in the house, so that way they can walk on the wood floor without making it creak. But Reagan tries to go into the basement and Daddy says absolutely the fuck not.
Nope.
And he yanks her out of there, and then we get a nice daddy-daughter spat with him trying to basically explain why she can't go in there, and her saying like, I'm old enough, blah blah blah. And then he's like, well look, I made you this hearing aid or hearing device. And she was like, it won't work.
She's very sassy in this moment.
She is.
Which, I mean, she's a teenage girl. I mean, you know, she's entitled to her feelings. And yeah, she's very much, what's the word? Not jaded, but like she's not optimistic about this hearing aid working because she says they never work. Like they never do.
She's been through lots, gotten her hopes up a lot, and then had it repeatedly kind of squashed.
Yeah, it's like really tough on her, I'm sure, to think like each time like, oh, I can finally hear now, and then like, nah, it's still the same thing.
Just JK.
Yeah. And so it's this moment where he's trying to give it to her, and then because she won't put it in, he just kind of gives it to her and walks off. And we cut to Marcus with Mom in school, like you said earlier, and she's teaching him things. And then that's whenever Dad comes in to get Marcus because he's like, it's time to go hunt. And he really doesn't want to go with him. He's like, I don't want to go, Mom. Can you please tell him like, no.
Please don't make me go. Please don't make me go.
And it's funny because at this point, it's kind of like one of the only moments where we get a little comedy in the film because his mom's joking with him, like being like, you know, you got to go because he wants to make sure that you can take care of you and me when I get old and
gray and have no teeth. And she makes her lips go over her teeth and does a little face.
And so it's kind of a little sweet moment between them, and she's just trying to make him more comfortable with going. And so we're getting ready to go, but it's obvious that he still doesn't want to go because he's like being defiant, I guess, with his dad. And then Reagan comes up and she's like, he doesn't even want to go, like, let me go, like I can do it. And he's like, no, you got to stay here with Mom. Which
sexist as fuck.
Which that's what I was getting from it, which I didn't know if that's what it was trying to do for the most part, or if he just truly was like felt maybe like she was more vulnerable. And so he was just trying to protect her. And so like I don't think he was trying to do it because he's like, you're a girl, you can't do this. I think it was that part. He's just like, no, like I can't have anything. I think it was so much like she felt like he didn't love her at all. And he's like, no, I love you so much. Like I can't have
come out here.
Nothing can happen to you. I can lose him.
No.
But yeah. And so it's time to go hunt. They're out there. And then, you know, obviously she was upset, so she kind of stormed off. And honestly, I'm surprised that they let her just kind of storm off. The mom was just like, yeah, okay, bye.
Bye.
Like,
go have your feelings.
Yeah.
Maybe, I mean, honestly, if I was a parent too, I would let them go do their own thing. And not in this world, maybe.
That's the only reason why. I do get like, let them have their space. But I'm just like,
I mean, as long as you like see her walk into the house or something. I
don't know. Yeah. I was just like, where's she going? But yeah, you know, she goes to have her moment. Mom's staying behind, I guess, because she's going to be doing chores. But she ends up going into the house, does she not? Am I ahead of myself?
Little girl? Reagan?
Yeah. No, I was talking about Mom. But you're right. The little girl goes into the house.
Yeah, Reagan goes into the house. This is where she has her fit. She throws the hearing aid and then picks it back up and is like, okay, well, let me try one more time. Tries it. It doesn't work, unfortunately. It not any more than her being able to hear like her own heartbeat and stuff. And then she starts packing a bag, which I was like, is she about to run away?
Literally, that's what I'm like, this little girl's about to run away.
Yeah. And I was like, this is a real bad idea. Real bad idea you got here.
Have you run away? Did you ever run away when you were a kid?
I did.
I ran away.
But I would like run to a neighbor's house.
I ran away twice, but one time I got to like the end of the driveway. I ran away. Literally, I packed a bag. I was so mad. I remember I had this like all white little outfit, like jump outfit, like tracksuit thing that I put on. But anyways, my family had like, my parents' room had like a sliding glass door. And it was like its own private entrance exit. And I remember they were all having dinner and they were just like, I don't even remember what I was so mad at, but they just continued to like act like everything was fine. Even though I went to go throw my temper tantrum and just expecting someone to come like get me or whatever, baby me.
Yeah.
And so nobody did. So I just remember packing all my stuff, putting it in a suitcase. I remember we had this like crank TV that like you like would crank it and it would play like whatever was coming onto the antenna. So it's basically, you know, PBS or whatever. But I put that in there and then I got my stuff and I left. And I remember I was waiting for like them to notice me leaving and nobody noticed me leaving. So I go to the window and I'm like, you know, and they're just like, and so they come out and they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm running away. I'm like, I'm leaving and I'm never coming back.
Bye.
You know what they did?
They said bye.
They went and got a camera and started taking pictures of me with my suitcase walking away down the street. And they still have pictures of me literally walking away.
That's funny.
Of me with that shit. And I'll never forget it. And then I got as far as like, I think a few blocks, like not block, still in the same block, but like houses over, and there's like an empty lot where there's like, I guess an old house they like knocked over, and so it was just grass, and I just like put a blanket out there and I just sat out there for like a few hours. Nobody came to get me.
Wow.
Nobody. I'm still mad.
Should I call CPS, Josh?
It's fine. I ended up going back, but I think I was more like hurt. I was like, really? None of y'all came to get me? Whatever. But I did go back, so it's fine. I'm sure that's what they were thinking.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is what they were thinking.
I just think it's really funny that they were taking a picture. And I totally think of like what I would do now. I'm like, that sounds like something I would do.
Yeah.
I would totally be like, okay, haha.
I'm pretty sure I ran away to a neighbor's house and then my mom just called them and they were like, is she there? And they were like, yeah. And they were like, okay, fine. Because I've definitely spent the night away from home when I wasn't supposed to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I feel like I've done
packed a whole
that.
bag.
I feel like I've done that. Like go to my cousin's house like unannounced and then be like, oh, I guess I'm just staying here. And then, yeah, I've done that. But different from,
I
like,
did it
running
with
away.
the intent of running away.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But then I just didn't know where else to go. So I was like,
Gotta come
let
back.
me go here.
Oh, okay.
I went to the a neighbor's across like the street or behind the street or something, like in my neighborhood. Yeah.
Well, there you have it, folks. If you haven't run away once,
or maybe my mom
right.
never called, and I just assumed that
they did, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
And then I went back.
Who knows?
But we have our dad and son expedition going on. He and Marcus are by a riverbank, and he's like catching a fish, and the fish is like flopping and making noise, and so it freaks Marcus out. And Marcus is trying. Oh, and dad has to explain to Marcus that like because they are near the river and there's a lot of noise happening, that they are safe. That if there is a bigger noise compared to the noise that they make, they will be okay because it's distorted by that bigger noise.
Yeah, small noises are okay. Big noises
bad
could be bad.
Yeah, or well, good. Wait, what?
Bad. Big. He says big noises are bad.
Yeah.
But then once they get to the waterfall, then he's like, you can scream, you can do whatever the fuck you want here. It's so loud.
Which was pretty cool. It was a nice little moment between the dad and him.
Yeah.
And then we have mom doing some laundry. At this point, we see that whenever she's trying dragging a bag across the floor.
Yeah,
and
she's
upstairs,
like got two
Mhm.
bags of laundry in her arms while she's pregnant,
Mhm.
trying to go upstairs, and it
loosens up a nail and like
Yeah.
drags it up, which is really crazy. And also, how does she not feel that? But
Oh, no.
okay,
she just keeps pulling, and
yeah.
I'm like, at that point, I would step back,
and be like, yeah,
see what it is, and make sure that, because obviously it's stuck on something, but that's just what I would do,
I digressed. Yeah. And so she's
or what I'd like to think I would do.
Mhm. She goes upstairs. It goes unnoticed at this point, and that'll come back later in the movie. And so the boys are having a nice little father-son convo. And at this point, I think the little boy is telling dad, like, Reagan doesn't think you love her, and you should probably tell her, because like it seems like you hate her. Not in those words, but that's pretty much the gist of
Yeah,
their
he
convo.
says like, do you
Mhm.
blame her for what happened? And then dad's like, no. And then Marcus is like, well, 'cause she blames herself.
Mhm.
And then then he asks her, do you still love her, right? And the way that Lee's face, just like, are you fucking kidding me
Yeah.
right now with this question? The way it was a very
It's like,
good
it's insane.
moment for John Krasinski. Yeah, he
Mhm.
really emoted that and entirely well.
Mhm.
And then that's when he says, well, maybe you should tell her
Mhm.
that you do love her,
Yeah.
because I don't think she knows right now,
Mhm.
which was important for later.
Yeah. Very much so.
And we see at this point, sister went down with the rocket.
To the bridge, and they at some point before this movie had set up a little memorial, a little cross to
Erected a
commemorate,
little grave.
like a tombstone where the little boy had passed away. And so she takes that rocket and she like snips the little wires that make the noise, so that way it'll still light up but not make noise. And she kind of puts it there, I feel like, in honor of her brother. And I feel like a lot of times in this movie, a lot of people have different moments where they're letting go of him, just like dad with that box earlier and burning it, and then her in this moment. And then we get mom back going into the house and going into her his room, and then like
just to cry.
And I feel like also like kind of have this moment of like catharsis. And it's kind of unfortunate because as she's about to leave and walk out of this room, her water starts to break.
Yep. And
she's all by herself. That's like the worst time.
Yeah, it is. And I was just like, imagine having to give birth quietly.
Yeah.
Because it couldn't be me. I would not. Absolutely not. First off, I wouldn't be giving birth.
Yeah.
Secondly, it would not be quiet. But as all that's happening too, and her water is breaking, the dad and Marcus are on their way back from their expedition, and they are passing this old house, and they pass this old man who he was a jump scare for me.
Oh yeah, because Marcus walks by and he doesn't even notice him at first.
Yeah, and then he stood up and I was like, oh fuck. And then Marcus runs into the dad's backpack, and because he's stopped clearly because he's seen this man, and then he looks down and his wife is like mangled.
Yeah, she's fucked up.
Yeah.
And we don't know if I don't know, because I feel like if a creature did it, why didn't the creature get him? Or why? But I doubt he'd kill that lady. I don't know. We don't know what killed her, but I'm pretty sure it was a creature, I guess.
Yeah, I'm going to assume it was a creature. She looked pretty torn up from the waist down. And then we get him seeing like Lee putting his finger over his mouth saying like, don't you fucking dare. And then the guy's face, he's got one of those real scrunchy faces.
Yeah, very what's that guy from Toy Story 2 who is the
prospector?
The prospector. That's what he gives me. Like,
yeah,
very prospector vibes.
Yeah, he does. He's got that white beard and stuff like that. And he's wasn't he in overalls?
I think so, something like that. And then like the way he like put his chin in his mouth or lip,
he had
the whole thing
underbite.
Yeah, but yeah, and then just long story short, just yells the most obnoxiously loud yell.
Yeah.
To get the attention of a beast, because I guess he's gonna just S-word himself.
Yep. Saying bye to himself.
And also too, like, if you're gonna do that, like,
why do it while other people
or just
are
be
around?
like, move along, okay, and then like they're down the way, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're putting other people in danger.
And
Yeah,
with a kid.
maybe he didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, I don't. Clearly, he didn't.
Mm-mm.
But Dad scoops up Marcus right away, and he's like, "We're gonna, we're gonna shut the fuck up, right now." Hides behind a tree.
The way
and
he's like got his like hand over.
I know.
His
I'm
mouth,
like, can Marcus even breathe?
I'm like, yeah. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, oh,
his nose holes were closed
It
too.
didn't seem like it needed to be that like aggressive.
Yeah. I was like, Marcus is gonna die just from you, bud. But yeah, thankfully Marcus lives. So does the dad.
And at the same time that all this is happening, we get a cut back to Mom, and she's in the house. And she at this point was going downstairs after the water broke, and she fucking steps on the nail. And it's obviously painful because she yells. No, she doesn't even yell. Homegirl basically, I mean, she yells a little bit, but like the only noise we get is that she was holding a photograph of the baby, the kid that died, and then it fell and it shattered. Yeah. And so that made a bunch of noise. And Homegirl is like doing the best she can to just like cover up her mouth and then like get
through the excruciating pain of having just stepped on a nail and also having contractions at the same time.
That's a lot.
Yeah. It's quite a lot for her to be going through. She gets down the stairs, and she turns the lights outside to red to signal that
baby's on the way
or something is going
SOS.
wrong.
Oh yeah.
In this house. Yeah. And then, but as she does that, we see that there's a creature in the house. One of the monsters has made it in. It heard her little picture frame crash, and it's come to get her.
Yeah. And it's so creepy the way it like starts to like walk in very quietly, and you can tell that she's like, oh shit, and she has to kind of very much like, I can't go back that way, so she goes back down and turns into the basement to where she's looking around a bunch of shelves for stuff, I guess, to make a distraction, and she very smartly grabs a timer and sets it up for like 5 or 6 minutes or something like that, and then puts it across the room and then goes to the other side of the room. And meanwhile we have Dad and
her face in that moment, whenever
when she saw the creature up there.
Well, just know as she was like on the shelving,
like trying to hold back the pains of the labor pains,
and also her foot, and just like whenever she like sunk down to the next level and stuff too, it was just her face and everything throughout all that was phenomenal. She did a great job.
I guess it helps to like have children as an actress and then have to perform as someone who's gave a kid, because you like I feel like would recall like all of those like excruciating
awful pains
because that's one thing that you always hear from mom. Like my mom, like anytime we bring up like, oh, when we were born, like my mom will be like, oh, I will never forget like every moment of that labor. Like my mom was like, oh, I remember every moment of each one of y'all.
You were a little piece of shit.
Yeah. Like she is like, I remember how it felt. Like it's all very vivid. You know what I mean?
God, I want to be so drugged up that I don't remember any of it.
It's blacked out from your memory. It's a trauma response. And so she is, Dad and Marcus are back, and they see that the lights are red. So they like take off running, and they're like, oh my God, okay, we got to get to the house. And Mom is in the basement with the alien. And this is whenever, I think at the same time, the mom, does the timer go off? And then the timer goes off, and so the alien is distracted.
Yep. And then she uses that moment to get out of the cellar, basically. And then she makes it up to the bathtub upstairs.
Yeah.
And she's giving birth awfully fast
because she couldn't also go out the front door, because at that point we saw that there was another creature right outside in the yard. And then at this point, I think it's when Dad and Marcus see that like there's a creature right there, and they that she's in there, and they can't like just walk in through the front door to go help her.
That they're like,
and so then that's
the rockets.
Yeah, and that's whenever he's telling him about the plan about the rockets. And the little Marcus is like really scared, and he's like, "Your mom needs you right now to help her. Like you need to make a bigger noise so that way I can help Mom."
Yeah.
And so Mom's in the bathroom, like we said, and she is going through labor really, really fast. But I have heard, and I think it was true with my sisters. Once you have one baby, like the next time it's like if you have a lot of kids, like
they just
by the
come
fifth, by like the fourth, third, like they're just like, ooh, they're coming out. That's your body's knows what to do. Mm-hmm.
Yikes.
Mm-hmm. But I'm sure it's different for everybody. But yeah. I couldn't imagine.
Anyways, she's having
It dilates that big. Could you imagine?
No, I can't.
Anyways, it makes me think of like a snake, like when their mouths unhinge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
but we are what's happening? Mom's in the bathroom.
Mom's in
Mom
the
is
bathtub.
fucking going through some deep, intense labor. And there's like, one of my favorite scenes in the movie too is like whenever she's in the tub and the blood
it's just
starts
her feet
and
you see the blood
going down the
Yeah.
drain. That's very like visually intense, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
pleasing.
Mm-hmm. Especially
It was a
whenever
good shot.
especially I think it's such a thing for us like as humans and what we've seen in movies and seen through life and like the meaning of blood coming from a woman's nether regions. You know,
Yeah.
like that's very bad.
Yeah.
In terms of either like, especially if she's pregnant, usually that means like something's going wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's hemorrhaging.
Or she's now in this one it's just because she's
Giving an at-home
Giving
labor.
birth in
Yeah.
a dry tub.
Yeah.
Not even a water birth.
Uh-huh.
But yeah. And then we've got Marcus running off to go set off the fireworks and he sets them off successfully.
Mhm.
And all of the creatures go running. And as she hears those fireworks go off, she just lets out this guttural scream
Mhm.
of just like, "Wah."
Kind of lets it all out in that one.
Yeah,
I think even the baby comes out in that one, I guess.
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
she just like lets it all out. Baby comes out.
Couldn't have been the most perfect timing, I guess. Because
Yeah.
I'm sure like the baby was crowning at that point when she was like, oh shit, like something's got to happen.
Yeah, because she was like
it's
holding
happening.
down there.
She was like
too.
pushing it in.
And she was like, get the
not
fuck
now.
back in there.
Not yet.
Not right now. This is a bad time.
And-
Like, schedule you in for later.
Literally. So thankfully, as all of this is going on, we also see that Reagan, because she can't hear, but she sees all the fireworks going off. So she's like, oh, fuck. And so she takes off bolting to get back to the farm, essentially, the plantation that they live at. Oop, let me not say plantation, my bad.
Mhm.
But Dad is in the house with the gun. And he is trying to get to Mama. He goes up to the restroom, and it looks like a fucking murder scene. Because
Yeah,
there's blood
he
all over
finds the
on the
bloody
wall.
bathtub, and he's like,
Yeah, he's
sinks
thinking the
down.
worst.
Yeah,
He's like, oh, shit.
she's dead.
Yeah, they're gone.
Yeah.
And thankfully, as he's having his little breakdown moment, her hand just like hits the
Bloodied hand.
whatchamacallit? The
Shower
shower
door.
wall, the glass
Yeah.
door, and he opens it, and she's just like with the baby, and it's a very like not happy moment, but like
Relief.
relieving moment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In that moment, knowing that she's not dead.
And she also looks fucking like she looks like she just had a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's exhausted.
She was like barely able to hold her own head up
Mhm.
and stuff. She's like, oh, thank God you're here. Now I can
knock out. Literally.
not be present.
Because that's essentially what she ends up doing, because she is basically in his arm. He's got her and the baby in his arms, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's carrying both mom
Literally,
and baby.
that's crazy.
He's strong.
And
I mean, his back when they were dancing, it looked pretty.
I mean, John Krasinski is pretty strong. I think he got in shape because he's also in that other show called Reacher, and it's about like I forget the premise, but basically it's action, so he does stuff in it.
Have to be.
John Krasinski is a good looking man.
Oh,
He's
yes.
very handsome.
Yeah, he is.
And a very like not like an approachable way, I guess. Does that make sense to you at all?
Not intimidating.
Yeah, like he's very like
You're
soft
like,
boy
I
attractive.
could land you.
As a boy, no, like he's very soft boy attractive.
You're attractive, but not attractive enough.
As opposed to like,
Just kidding.
I guess he just, I don't know. I think you pick up what I'm picking up on though.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. And so it's funny because I feel like he doesn't look
But
like
he's also rugged.
He doesn't look like a movie star. Yeah, it's the ruggedness. I guess that's what it is, especially in this movie. And obviously, I mean, I still only see him as Jim as well. So he just seems very like funny.
Soft and lovable. And yeah, just a little bottle of rom-com.
Yeah.
Did you know that dehydration is the leading cause of daytime fatigue? I was shocked to learn that even mild dehydration can cause headaches, muscle weakness, and brain fog. But luckily, there's a solution. Cure. Cure Hydration is an oral rehydration solution that contains the perfect balance of electrolytes and glucose to help your body absorb water and rehydrate quickly. The formula is made with all natural ingredients like coconut water, powder, and pink Himalayan salt, and is free from artificial flavors, sweeteners, and preservatives. Cure Hydration is vegan, gluten-free, and non-GMO, making it a great option for anyone with dietary restrictions or preferences. The packets are convenient and easy to use. Just mix with water and drink. They're perfect for on the go, travel, or anytime you need a quick and effective hydration boost. Hydration is more than just drinking water. That's what Lauren Picasso, a lifelong endurance athlete, discovered as she struggled to stay hydrated no matter how much water she drank. Lauren founded Cure, a science-backed electrolyte drink mixed to make hydrating easy for everyone. Cure believes that hydration should be simple and effective, but also clean and natural. That's why they use only the highest quality plant-based ingredients and avoid any artificial or harmful additives. They're committed to transparency and honesty. All of their ingredients are clearly listed on their website and packaging, and they're always happy to answer any questions or concerns. Ready to combat dehydration? Try Cure today and feel the difference for yourself. Use code BOO for 20% off your order.
Are you tired of the same old boring puzzles? Mix things up with Wongo puzzles. Each puzzle is a custom design with intricate patterns and whimsical shapes that will keep you engaged for hours. Plus, their eco-friendly materials and commitment to sustainability make Wongo puzzles a guilt-free way to unwind. Wongo puzzles are 100% wooden puzzles, meaning they'll last forever. Each piece is hand-drawn, so no two pieces are the same, and you'll discover some fun, whimsy pieces as you work through it. They come in a custom wooden box, which is perfect for storage and gifting. With stunning design and unique shapes, Wongo puzzles are a cut above the rest. So what are you waiting for? Go to wongopuzzles.com and pick your puzzle today. And be sure to use the promo code BOO and get 10% off of your order. This is the most fun you've had with the puzzle, guaranteed, or your money back. Go to Wongo, WONGO, puzzles.com and use the code BOO to get 10% off your order and get puzzling right now. Wongo.
And so he is carrying the baby. They're getting to that little basement area that they had set up for, keeping the baby quiet. But before they can even get down there, the baby's starting to cry already. So it's obviously, drawing attention to the little alien creatures that are coming to get them. And so they, as soon as they get down into that little basement and he pulls the mattress over it, we see that there's a creature coming into the farmhouse. He gets down there and he's able to put the little gas mask, not gas mask, I keep calling it oxygen mask on the baby so that way he can put him in the little box that they made that's really fucking good at sound control or whatever, canceling. And yeah, we essentially have that happening. And at the same time, we have Reagan in the cornfield, and I believe she's looking for her brother. Yeah, because Marcus, for some reason, he ran into a monster and then decides to go into the corn where it's going to make a lot of fucking noise. So I'm not sure why he did that. But thankfully ended up smacking himself into unconscious, so he stopped making noise. Yeah. Yeah. And but so the sister sees, as Reagan's walking back, she sees his light shining from his flashlight. And she's like, okay, well, obviously I need to go check and see what that is. And so she walks over there to him, finds him, and a little jump scare again whenever he reaches his little hand out from under the tractor whenever she tries to go grab his flashlight, and he's like, jump. And it's like, but and I'm sorry, did you mention it? Was it right before that? I think right before that is whenever we saw that the alien had a little reaction to her hearing aid. Yeah. But yes, all of that's happening. And then I think at that, because we're going between them and then the parents, that's whenever the mom comes to, and she and the dad are talking, and she's like, where are the kids? Right? Yeah, because first she comes to. No. And that's when she's like, I could have carried him. Yeah. Because she woke up, I think she was having a dream about him. And that's right. Woke up and was like, I could have carried him. She was saying my hands were free, and she was feeling so guilty in that moment. And she says, who are we if we can't protect them? Like, we're nothing if we can't protect them. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. They're the only things that matter. And that is such a parent thing to say. It is, yeah. And then that's whenever she's then starts going like,
where are they?
Yeah.
She finally comes to her surroundings and is like, wait, where the fuck are our other two
and
children?
she's like, you need to go get them.
Yeah.
Like, I love how she's like, go get them.
You protect them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he does. He takes that real literally.
Yeah, and he goes out, and that's whenever we get to the kids who have now made their way to the silo.
Yep.
Right, they're on top of the silo.
They made their way to the silo, and as Lee was going out to look for them,
that's right.
the water line was broken.
Mm-hmm. I don't think he noticed. Right.
I don't think he noticed, and it's gonna flood their little soundproof room, and it does.
This is all so unfortunate because they really made like the perfect place to raise that baby.
Yeah.
At least down there, and then like it all went to shit in a matter of like an hour.
And then they're going to have to pick up in the second film and just get up and go, as we see whenever it gets to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're down there, and all of a sudden, as they're up on the silo, but then the creature comes down into the flooded room with the mom and baby, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but I hated the fact that it could swim. The way that it like slid into the water, I was like,
it was very creepy. It was like a snake. It like slithered into it.
I was like, no.
And its silhouette, its figure was very like scary and eerie.
Just,
but it's very. I don't know that if it. Yeah, they have a very limited swim, I guess, or it can like.
Yeah, it didn't make it very far, did it?
Yeah,
whenever it came up for.
Yeah, I think it was just basically walking on the bottom of the floor, but could be in the water. Because there's a moment
I imagine it was gonna bump into her legs and then be like.
That's what also kind of flipped me out as well, because the whole time that she is just like, okay, I guess I'm gonna get in the water too and walk my way over to the baby.
Yeah, I would have been like, I would have been like,
this thing would have bumped me at some point. You know what I mean? Yeah, like it was very, I guess, lucky that it didn't. But it does come up like right in front of her and the fucking baby. Whenever the baby's starting to kind of make some like whiny noises.
Yeah, it's cooing.
It's cooing, yeah. And that's really scary because that moment she's basically like face to face with it.
Yeah. She was. It was right there, and I was like, "Oh God, this baby's about to start crying." Thankfully, it didn't.
Yeah,
and she's able to.
She was saved by
a waterfall.
The waterfall, yeah, because she backs up under it,
back into this little pseudo kind of waterfall.
Oh, and then unfortunately, after the little spat that Marcus and Reagan have up on top of the silo, because they're talking about how like dad, still loves her, and she's like, no, he doesn't. He falls through, and that's why the thing runs off, because it hears that happen. So I mean, technically, her one kid's accident saved her from dying, because I feel like it still probably maybe even would have went past the water.
Yeah, it did get really close. I don't think it was quite loud enough to hide the baby's cooing. Especially with how intense their eardrums were. Like when they opened up and
that
you
was
could
so
really
weird.
See into their ears and stuff. They've got like supersonic hearing.
Yeah. It was very visually like what's the word? Kind of satisfying, but also like what's the word? Like when you watch something or touch something that doesn't feel right, like when you scratch a seatbelt or like jeans, like it gave me that kind of vibes, like a icky ooky vibe. But anyways, I digress. Yeah, it runs off because it hears the little boy fall through the silo, and it's funny how like Reagan didn't even notice at first that he like had fallen through because she can't hear.
She can't
obviously.
hear,
So she just kind of turns around. She's like, "Oh wait, where do you fucking go?"
And then she's like waving, trying to get his attention, telling him to stop. But clearly Marcus is just freaking out, and because she can't yell at him, being like, "Marcus!"
Yeah,
like because then she'll alert everyone else.
Yeah.
So she's,
doing
trying to get his attention, but she can't.
Oh, and then the way that little door falls and almost like fucking crushes him.
Yeah, I know. It looks like it looks heavy. Like it could have gotten half of his body had he been like flat laid out. But I guess he fell straight in.
Yeah. This also helps to alert dad to where they are, because he was looking for them the whole time.
Yeah.
And he's like sees the alien like running through the cornfield towards them.
And he's like, uh-oh.
They're over there.
But the door falls in, Sis jumps in after him, and then we've got this Titanic situation basically where it's like one of them's on the door and Sis goes under, and it's like, uh-oh. And so then Marcus is thankfully able to save Reagan from getting swallowed up by the grains. And but then
one of the creatures comes in.
Ploop.
and like
plops right
busts
in.
through the side of it, and it's trying to get to them, and they're covering themselves up with the door that they had. But at the same time, thankfully, Reagan's ear thing piece is also having, like we saw earlier, some interference feedback with the creature, and it like makes it jump out and leave. And so at this point they still haven't kind of realized what's happening, but they're like also weirded out, like, oh, why did it leave us alone, that to their knowledge, like it should have killed us, you know. And so they're able to thankfully jump out of the silo, and that's whenever their dad is coming up towards them and he sees them, and they have this really like little sweet reunion. But it doesn't last long, unfortunately, because one of the aliens pops up, right?
Yeah, it pops up. Dad's like, let's go get in the truck.
Yeah.
And then the alien pops up right as he's trying to run after them, and it just like
it
whacks him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he, topples to the ground. The kids get in the truck, and then he's, standing there. He's able to get back up, but at this point the alien's just like attacking
it's attacking the truck and the kids in the truck. And so he's obviously like, dang, I need to do something so that way it doesn't kill them. And we have this really tender moment where he's looking at Reagan, and she's looking through the back of the rear window, and he's telling her like, I love you, signing I love you, and I have always loved you.
I always have. And then Dad just
lets out a
screams, and he gets killed. And the kids throw that car into neutral, and they just roll down the hill, and they escape to the house. And they have this another moment where they're on the front lawn when they meet up with the mom, and they're just crying and having to like silently sob,
also,
which is so hard.
Watching all of that on the cameras.
Yeah.
Like she just watched her husband get murdered. Literally. Yeah.
That had to have been so hard. And must have been like a train wreck situation where you just like can't look away. You can't do anything. Yeah. You're just like, holy shit, this is happening.
She saw it coming too, because you could tell the look on her face when she's like watching him like hugging them, and just like that moment. And then she's like, oh crap.
He's gonna die. He's gonna sacrifice himself.
And that happens. They're back together, and they end up all going into the basement of the house again. And we have Reagan then seeing like, oh shit, like she was never able to go in there. And so she sees like how much her dad was like working on the hearing aids, and like how much he did for her. Were there. Yeah, literally like how much he really did care for her, and also like all of his research on all of the creatures and stuff that he had going on.
And this is where I almost cried, because I was like, whenever she like was able to see how much he had done for her, and how
I bet that's
how she had treated him.
Yeah, she's probably felt really like shitty.
Yeah.
Like,
she had to have.
Yeah, because she was very much that like, she gave him a lot of crap.
Yeah, she did.
He was just trying to like do his best. Yeah. But
all kids that age give their parents a lot of crap.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Very much so.
So
I think it takes time to grow into knowing that like people are just as human as you are, and that's why I don't have kids. How about that? We'll just say that right there. But anyways, they're in there, and then they're looking at the monitors, and these other oh no, not yet, my bad. The creature that was after them is coming down there to get them. And so they're getting ready. Mom's got the shotgun, and then at this point the creature comes in. She gives the baby to the boy, to Marcus.
And this is when Marcus has the like, are you fucking kidding me? Eyes.
Yeah.
He's like, you're not giving me this little death machine.
And so he takes that baby reluctantly, and then the alien starts to come down the stairs and into the room, and Mom's very much like, Mama Bear, she's ready, locked and loaded. But as it's down there and they're all being quiet, it gets bothered by the static of a TV. And so it starts to attack the TV. And at this point, Reagan had turned off her hearing aid from earlier whenever she was in the truck. So that's really important right now, because it's off. And so it's not causing any interference with the alien. And so it's at that point that I think that she's starting to put like 1 + 2 together. And she's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, because she looks at her father's whiteboard, and it says, what is its weakness?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh shit. And flips it on. And then
starts to have a reaction.
Essentially cripples it. And it just is like, shrinking in on itself, kind of, and falling backwards and stumbling everywhere. And then it kind of goes down for a little bit, and they're like, whoa, okay, cool. And
Yeah.
then she takes the hearing aid off of her ear and holds it up against the microphone to cause more, like, well, it comes back up first, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Before
it
she
does.
holds it up to the microphone.
It does, because it kind of like got incapacitated a bit from the noise, and then they're kind of like, okay, wait, is it dead? Is it not? But then it gets back up, and because it's still kind of crippled by it, mom is able to then
blow its head off.
yeah. Oh no, because Reagan, that's right. At first it was just on her ear, and then it's whenever she puts it up to the microphone of a thing. I think that's at that
did it?
point. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it did.
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah.
And it, like, its head like opens up like one of those, you know, you ever seen that like IKEA light that you can pull down and it opens up?
Oh yeah.
And then, or like one of those little balls that open up.
I know which ones you're talking about.
That's what its head looked like.
It does.
Yeah.
And then and then it gets back up, like you said, you're right. And then mom shoots its brains out.
Yep.
And that's what really kind of puts the final blow. But because I feel like mom also used the shotgun, that's when we look to the monitor and there's
creatures
like 2 or 3
are
more
swarming
coming.
the house. And she's getting ready to blast them away with a feedback, and then chink, mom cocks the gun.
Yeah.
And it's roll credit time.
I love how that's a pretty badass way to end the movie. With
Yeah,
mom
it is.
like cocking the gun, like, and the look on her face, she's like,
Let's
very
kill
much like
this
I'm
bitch.
ready. Yeah,
Yeah. I'm ready to fuck some shit up.
Mhm.
Emily Blunt was ready to go.
And that's the movie.
2018's
Quiet Place.
A Quiet Place.
This movie was probably the worst movie I've ever seen. No, I'm just kidding. I actually
like, whoa, what the
really,
fuck, Josh?
really enjoyed it. No, I remember when
I
it
was
first
about to get mad.
I remember when I first watched it, I really enjoyed it. This is probably only my second time that I rewatched it. And it was still pretty good. And there were things that I didn't really quite catch on to the first time, like the dad burning the thingy, my bopper. And then, yeah, it's really pulls on your heartstrings. It is a really good storytelling type of movie that is set in a horror setting, if that makes sense, because it's almost like a drama, but yet it's just like happening in this universe where like creatures are killing people. And John Krasinski did a really good job of directing everybody, and I really enjoyed the fact that we got to hear like the perspective and audio from Reagan's character's point of view. I thought that was really important to the film, and it did a really good job of balancing the quietness, and then when it would interject sound, like it all worked for the movie. It wasn't like just sound to be sound. And I just also happen to be really biased because I love kind of anything that Emily Blunt is in for some reason. And I think she's a really phenomenal actress. And it's really cute that like they're married in real life, and they were married in the movie, and they had been wanting to work on something together for a really long time. And
they did it in this piece, and it was a knockout.
Yeah. And it really worked, especially I guess because whenever he, came across this piece, they had just had their first kids and stuff, or maybe had one kid and were already like, she was pregnant with the second one. And so it really hit home for him. So you can tell like there was a lot of heart in the film. And yeah, I think I'll stop mentioning things so that way you can have good things to say about it. But I honestly don't really think I had like too much of a bad thing. I think the only thing that I would say is maybe I wish the creature was a little more scary, if that makes sense. I'm not. Yeah,
it's pretty terrifying.
It's pretty terrifying, but I feel like
creepy
for some reason. I would want it to be scarier, is all. But other than that, I would have to give this film probably 3.5.
3.5?
No, sorry. A 4.
4.
I'll give it a 4. Yeah, because it's really good. I'll give it a 4. I'm going to settle on 4.
Okay.
Your turn.
Fun facts?
Fun facts.
John Krasinski played the creature in a motion capture suit for a few scenes.
Oh, that's cool.
So that is pretty fun.
Very hands-on.
Actress Millicent Simmons has been deaf since infancy due to a medication overdose. This was the second film she starred in, with Wonderstruck being her first, 2017. She did a great job for only having one film under her belt
she was a pretty good actress.
Yeah.
And especially no dialogue. Like she can only emote and like, so
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Without like most of the time acting comes from dialogue
and
and
words
stuff,
and like really putting stuff
and
together.
that's how you
But
get the emotions across. But these actors had to really portray everything without
their facial expressions.
words.
Yeah.
I mean, they still use
Body
sign
language. Yeah.
and stuff too, but
But
a
even
lot of
then,
it,
like you can tell like their
there's no
emphasis.
tone to it.
Yeah.
Well, there was.
I feel like
tone to
I
it.
feel like there's tone to
Yeah.
like when they're like either like calm or like
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever she was being real sassy. And
Yeah.
stuff like that. Let's see. The filmmakers purchased 20 tons of corn and hired local farmers to grow it. So that's
Cool.
nice. Emily Blunt did the bathtub scene in one take. According to John Krasinski, as soon as he said cut, Blunt left the character and asked the crew, "What's everyone having for lunch?" Actor-director John Krasinski has said that the single greatest compliment he received regarding the film was in a tweet from the master of horror story himself, Stephen King. And it said, "A Quiet Place is an extraordinary piece of work. Terrific acting, but the main thing is the silence and how it makes the camera's eye open wide in a few movies, in a way a few movies manage."
That's a pretty high compliment if you got
true.
Stephen King.
I'm going to go ahead and second what Stephen King said, because y'all all know that I love the good use of silence in a film to really heighten one's senses and everything else against like what's actually happening. And it makes the scenes with noise that much more jarring because you just came from something so silent. And so then that with the visual impact of whatever is happening on the screen at that time, this film did a phenomenal job of combining the two and really using it to its advantage. I mean, had this film been any louder than it was, I would have questioned it. And I would have been like, why the fuck is this called A Quiet Place whenever you've got orchestral work going the whole time and like the soundtrack of Smile just being like bing bing.
Yeah, that's true.
At other points. I'm sorry for shitting on Smile so much. It was a fine film.
You didn't like it?
I liked it. I liked
the music.
Yeah, I just didn't like the music.
But I agree with you. This movie did a really good and a great job, phenomenal job at balancing and knowing when and where and how and at what point, like the good 10-minute, and then it was quiet for at least another 20-ish to 25 minutes before we got that fire going, and then the ending with the fireworks. Like it was all paced very well as well.
Yeah.
The tension was built and released in times where it needed to be, as opposed to us getting a bunch of it times or it just all felt right.
Yeah. It was never and there was always little sounds to kind of drive the plot and the narrative with the soundtrack and stuff like that as well. And so they did a great job there. The acting was phenomenal. It was terrific. And all of the actors and actresses did a fantastic job, really, like we said, emoting all of the different things that they had to. And it was beautifully shot as well. Like that scene, the bathtub scene.
Yeah.
And with her feet and the blood coming down towards the drain, that was a beautiful shot. There are so many shots throughout the film that were just beautiful.
Like the shots of them when they were all at the beginning before the little boy died, when they were walking across the bridge. I thought that was really pretty.
Yeah.
And then the shot of opening up on the farm and stuff, and the shots when he was on top of the silo and with the fires. I thought that was all really done well as well.
It was all just very well shot. And then also it's got a good storyline. I mean, it starts with a punch and then it keeps going and it ends with a punch as well. We've lost two of the main characters.
Yeah. It's not afraid to go there. It's not afraid to end on an all happy, oh, we all made it type of note. It really had the stakes be very high.
It ends with final girl Emily Blunt showing him who's boss.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm not gonna let you hurt my babies. We're gonna be the final family now.
They're gonna kill all the humans too.
They are.
But it's
and that's what happens next anyways, right? In any of these post-apocalyptic films, you gotta kill other people in order to survive.
Because people go crazy.
People are the worst of even worse than what's out there sometimes.
Yeah, and that's what totally the premise of the second one was, or whatever that happens. We'll talk
it's
about
been
it when we
it's
talk
been
about
a long time since I watched the second one now. The last time I watched it was in theaters with you.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
it's been a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was you got to give your boo rating. Refreshing
wine.
Yeah,
4.5.
4.5 for you?
Yeah, I really liked this film. I remember seeing it in theaters and just being like, wow.
It's refreshing cinema.
Yeah. I was like, this was incredible. Again, just the use of silence and seeing that in theaters too, which was why I was so excited to go see A Quiet Place 2 in theaters as well, because I just remembered how impactful the use of silence was, and especially with that like Adobe surround sound shit happening and that's in theaters, so you would really get the rumblings and everything, and it was just such a good cinematic experience. I really enjoyed it.
I agree.
And I enjoyed it on my home sound system as well. It was perfect. I didn't have to like turn up the volume at any point. Like I had it perfectly set. It was nice, and I was able to hear everything and see everything. It was good.
It sounded like a segue into like a promo for like a home theater system.
This is my Samsung soundbar.
Samsung. Sponsor us, Vizio, sponsor us, anybody, sponsor us. But yeah, I agree though. I liked it in both settings. It's great in both settings, but the theater experience was definitely like a good experience, especially when you're I think both situations, we were both in, well, when I watched it the first time, I know for sure, I think because everybody kind of got the assignment, like we're going to be quiet, nobody make noise because this film is silent. You know what I mean? And so
thankfully no one was being too rowdy,
obnoxious, or like, the popcorn and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it really,
I do remember being very afraid to eat anything.
Yeah.
In both of these films. Cause I was like, anytime something loud happened, I was like,
this is the time, open up the candy right now.
Yeah. Coke and put it back down and dig my hand into the popcorn.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, just because otherwise it was way too loud. And it was like you couldn't move. I was afraid to like shift my weight in the seat, because I think whenever I saw the first one, this was before the Cinemark. Yeah, so I was at the AMC.
Yeah.
And it was like every time I moved.
I feel like that in any movie though, for the most part.
Yeah.
Like, especially the others because they were super quiet though. But yeah. I'm always like super self-conscious because I guess you always feel like it's super loud when you're the one crunching on the chip because it's in your ear. Yeah, literally in your eardrum. But yeah, I digress.
But it's not.
But yeah, any other takes or any other last thoughts on A Quiet Place?
Nope. I think that's it. We've got a 4 and a 4.5 from your booze, making it a 4.25 as the total rating for A Quiet Place 2018.
Yes.
And as always, we're in the lovely Rogue Media Network studios.
They take really good care of us, and you can listen to our podcast or many other podcasts on their website, which is roguemedianetwork.com.
That's right. And you can listen to us and a slew of other podcasts on all of your favorite podcasting platforms, the biggest two being
Spotify
and also Apple. But wherever you do listen, don't forget to
rate, review, like, and subscribe.
That's right. And then also word of mouth, tell your friends, because that's the only way we can get ahead in this world. And then if you would like to reach out to us, let us know your thoughts on A Quiet Place or A Quiet Place 2, which is what we'll cover next. Then you can do so on our one social media platform, and that is Instagram and at
Boobays Podcast, BOOBAES, because we're your boobays, not your boo babes.
That's right. And next time we'll be covering A Quiet Place 2. So stay tuned to hear the second half of this film series, which definitely left itself open for a third, right?
Oh yeah. I really hope I think there's
if they don't make a third at this point, it'll be like, what the fuck?
Well, to be honest, I think I was reading just now, if they're not making a third, what they're doing, I think is like they're making a spin-off. So there is a spin-off titled A Quiet Place Day 1. Oh no, yeah, I'm sure. Hello. So we're getting two things. Wow. So there is A Quiet Place called Day 1, and I guess apparently that's supposed to be like all about the first day spin-off, and then there is
which is how the second film starts.
Yeah, but I think more like in depth. Like yeah. And then A Quiet Place Part 3 is scheduled to be released. So the day one scheduled to be released March 8th, 2024, and A Quiet Place Part 3 is scheduled to come out in 2025.
Fun.
We'll see what happens though, because with all those strikes and everything happening and stuff with the film situation is kind of up in the air right now. But yeah, for sure though, the day one, it's already I think it's already been filmed, so it'll be coming out.
That's exciting.
Yeah,
excited to see that.
That's pretty cool.
Will it be a film or is it a limited series?
It's a film. Yep, it's a film prequel.
That's gonna be a lot of death.
But anyways, yes. Until next time,
people gonna be
you guys.
dying left and right. Not until next time. Just in that film.
Oh yeah.
It'll be. Yeah. Until next time, you guys. Bye, bays.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.